Hey guys, MrHappyWaffle here, and I was going to show you guys how I work on my car. Now what I'm going to show you today is how to rotate your tires and how to take off your tires safely. Now my car is specifically a stick shift, so the first thing you want to do is get in your car, make sure the emergency brake's up, and you want to make sure the clutch is in first gear, so that way the car doesn't roll forward or the car doesn't roll backwards while you're changing the tires. This is also handy for whenever you get a flat. We're gonna go over here to the trunk, open up the trunk, and we're gonna get our car changing equipment, which would be these things right here. Always a good idea to keep jumper cables in your car too, because you never know. So now the next thing you want to do is you want to take off. Well, some cars have these caps right here for, specifically cars with aftermarket rims. And why these are here is to keep people from stealing your rims, because not everybody carries around an Allen wrench or an Allen wrench. I don't know why I call it an Allen wrench. So you want to take that off. Alright, once you get that off, you want to just pop this sucker off and use this to get it off. There we go. And set it off to the side. Be sure to put your screw and your Allen wrench in there so you don't lose them and you know where they are. Now the next step is getting off these lug nuts. We got five of them here. And what we're going to use is this tool right here. Well, not a tool, but this socket. This is a special socket that's for custom bolts, and again, this is like that to keep people from stealing your rims. I had to get another one. This one's much thicker and stronger, and this is my old one. And whenever I was using it to rotate my tires the other day, as you can see there, it broke. So that's pretty shitty. Honestly, I think it's the guys who put on my brake pads who did it incorrectly, because your bolts should not be on that tight. And I'm going to show you this neat little tool here. This is a well, I guess it's kind of universal. You can use this to change your tires. I got it at O'Reilly's for about $10. Best buy ever. It can fold down, therefore it's more convenient. And then when you need it, you just fold it up like that. Good to go. Well, almost good to go. Now I have to use another socket just to fit that socket in it, because the other ones are too small, but that just helps me give me more leverage. And now I'm going to show you guys. I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, MrHappyWaffle here, back. Now I got the nuts loosened. You want to loosen the nuts before you have the car up in the air, so if the nuts are particularly hard to get off like mine, your car doesn't roll off the jack and you don't lose a limb, a hand, or a 3-year-old. Well, the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to get your jack. And this is just a little cheap jack I got at Walmart. It's kind of handy. It'd be easier just to get a bigger jack, so I don't have to jack the car up twice. I can just do it once. Anyways, I'm going to slip the jack under your car. And what you want to do is you want to look for an indent like this. That's how you know where you're supposed to put the jack. If you put the jack anywhere else, you run the risk of damaging, not the frame of your car, but the outside. And that shit isn't easy to fix. So, you want to roll it down under there. And you want to line it. My car has 2 indents where you can put a jack. And I guess the other indent is for a jack stand, like I have. Alright, now let's line that up. We slide this underneath. Just like that. I need to get it a little higher so it can stand. There we go. Perfect. Now that it's up like that, you want to let it down slowly. Actually, you can let it down pretty fast if you want to, but I let it down slowly because it scares me. Yeah, just like that. Let it release. Make sure you tighten this back up. Onto the other end. All right, now that we have both tires up on jack stands, we are ready for the next step, and that is removing the bolts for both tires. Now let me just tell you real quick, that you do not want your car sitting on this hydraulic jack. It is extremely dangerous to operate on your car if that's the only thing holding it up, because these things can and sometimes will fail. And if you're under your car or even around it, you could die or lose a limb, and that's not any fun. So always have a jack stand under it. I personally have the jack stand and the jack both keeping it up, just in case one of them fails. And of course, if you have the tires off and one of them fails, that'll fuck up your alignment, and it's an expensive fix. But now that the car is up and the lug nuts are loosened, we can proceed to the next step, and that's taking off the lug nuts. I'll be right back. Okay, now that we got the tires off and we got the back tire in the front and the front tire in the back, now would be a good time to look underneath your car. It's even though you're not a mechanic, or if you are, whatever, it's always a good idea to take a look around your car, because even a dumb person will recognize if something's broken. But now that we got the tire off, and well, this stuff, I can tell you how to clean that stuff off after a wash. But now that you got your tires off and you got a good angle on them, now would be a good time to polish your rims. And now that you got that stuff on, you just want to use a regular microfiber cloth. This stuff recommended for cars so they don't, scratch. Though you probably don't have to worry about scratches on your rims. But you really want to work that stuff in. You want to work it in. You kind of want to let it sit for a little bit, because the stuff is kind of similar to wax. You want to work it in. Oh my god, I sound like a pervert. You want to work it on, and then let it sit for a little bit, and then you want to take it back off. But you do that to all sides. Nice and basic. And now once you start getting good at this, rotating your tires and cleaning them only takes you about 20 to 30 minutes. But since I'm recording all this, it's taking me a little longer than usual. I'll be right back when I'm done polishing. Alright, Waffle's back. Now that I got my tire on, now you want to put on the lug nuts. I already put on one lug nut to keep the tire from falling off, but now you want to put on the rest of them. Okay, now once you get all the lug nuts on, you want to hand tighten them with your lug nut removing tool. And you think tightening lug nuts would be simple, but it's not true. There's actually a preferred way you need to tighten these. Oops. So your tire is actually on there straight and correctly. Now for these, I'm just hand tightening them, and I'm going to show you here in just a second how to properly tighten them. Alright, first you want to get your tightening tool and you want to put it on there, and you want to tighten it to as tight as you can get it. You don't want it so tight that you break a damn socket trying to get them off, but you want them tight enough that they won't come off while you're driving, or your tires will wobble or whatever. So I'm gonna have to put the phone down to do this because I need both my hands. And when you tighten the bottom one or the top one or wherever, you don't want to go here or here. You want to go up here. And you want to tighten them diagonally from each other, so that way the tire gets put on straight and even. And now I'll be right back once I'm done tightening these. Alright, now I got them tightened, the tire's on good. Doesn't look like it's crooked or uneven. And now comes the basic part. Putting this thing back on, move it on to the next tire. Alright, MrHappyWaffle back here. I just wanted to remind you guys that, well, not remind you, but tell you that whenever you tighten these, you know, the last bit you'll tighten them, you know, when I said how, whenever you tighten these, you want to make sure those lug nuts are all the way on, hand tight. And if you have this up on a single jack, or you're changing a spare tire, you want to make sure that this is on the ground before you hand tighten these, because if you hand tighten these while it's on a single jack without any jack stands or a heavy duty jack, you run the risk of the car slipping off the jack. It's happened to me once before, so that's why I'm telling you now. But as long as you got them on jack stands, you're okay. But if you don't have them on jack stands, if you just got them on a single jack or one of those jacks you use to change to put on a spare tire, then you want to make sure this is on the ground before you tighten it completely. But other than that, that about does it for this tutorial. I just gotta make sure those are tightened and then put the car back on the ground, and that's it. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, leave me a comment and I'll be happy to show you how I change my engine oil, or how I clean the inside of my car, or even how to wax a car. Thanks. Bye.